Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John, that's my co-ordinate commentary Ashton, and this is our Lucha Underground review. And holy hell, folks, the Cueto Cup continues. We had Group C matches tonight. All of them were stellar, not to mention some very interesting cinematics, not to mention intense cinematics. And we continue the build to the Ultimate Lucha Underground Championship match. It's Mundo, it's Mysterio, it's the Cueto Cup Finals, and they've done an excellent job promoting that, and we got to see more of that promotion tonight. So, on the whole, I adored this episode. Partner, what'd you think of it?
Yeah, man, this was a really fun episode. Like I even mentioned in our live reactions, this episode felt like it was moving at a breakneck pace because we were just transitioning from one match to the next immediately. And we did get some cinematics, which really, to me, improves the quality of any given episode of Lucha Underground from good to great. And it helped a lot here, and especially because Lucha Underground had a cinematic / vignette / video package that they put together that was unlike anything that they'd ever done before, and I'm looking forward to actually discussing that with you when we get to it.
Absolutely. So, you know what? Without any further ado, dude, I have no more preliminary remarks I want to make. You're looking forward to discussion, so am I. So let us get right into our Lucha Underground review. Now, this episode was very interesting because we didn't get the last time on Lucha Underground, a whole thing at the start. I
think this is the first episode of Lucha Underground since season 1, episode 1, that didn't have that.
You might be right about that, dude, because I've gotten so used to it that even if it isn't the only other time outside of the debut episode, it's been so far apart that I forgot about it. You know, because I'm just so used to these recaps. But we do get Katrina and Mil Muertes. Now, because I was caught off guard, I'm not going to lie, I missed the first little bit of this because I thought, oh, this is interesting stuff to recap, only to realize that, in fact, again, it wasn't a recap. But I think essentially what it boils down to is Mil says he's going to win the Cueto Cup for Katrina, who he refers to as his love.
Yeah, she was giving him orders to take back his Lucha Underground championship. And that was when he was just like, yeah, I'll do it for you, my love. And then they kissed.
And yes, they do share a kiss. And I think she imparts to him the words, win the Cueto Cup. And we see from a distance, Jeremiah Crane is watching. And we got a lot of peeping Toms in the temple, man. People that just like to spy on other people. We had Marty last week spying on Phoenix and Melissa's business, and then we got Jeremiah Crane this week spying on Katrina and Mil's business. Like, I don't know, man. We got a lot of peepers, a lot of peeping creeps being sold at the temple, so to speak. So, what do you think of the cinematic?
Yeah, the cinematic was really, really well done. It kind of gave off that eerie vibe. And it's just weird watching these Katrina Mil romantic cinematics, knowing that Katrina isn't interested in him in that way. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, absolutely.
It's like the cheating wife giving her husband a kiss goodnight when you know it's a loveless marriage.
Exactly. It's almost like, he sees it, and he being Mil, as kind of like this eros, this love, whatever you want to call it. Whereas Katrina, I think she sees it as a means of pacifying Mil, of making sure there's no conflict between them. And it's her way. It's funny because with him, it's genuine affection. For her, though, I think she distorts that affection to be just another means of control. This is me controlling my monster. And yeah, that is very interesting. And then, of course, you have Jeremiah, who's the third man, the observer on the outside of this interaction, and he's imposing upon it a completely different context. Like, this is a mutual love between these two. But then we're kind of the fourth observer, and we know a bit better. So it's really weird how that all breaks down, but it makes for fascinating stuff nonetheless.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, actually, we don't usually like to bring up chat comments during our TWitWoW reviews, but Dragon Man X90 said something that's really a really poignant point to me. Mil and Phoenix both kind of have this idea that they're going to win the cup for the women in their lives. Phoenix is going to win for Melissa Santos, And of course, we already know Mil just said he's going to win for Katrina. And yet, Katrina is in love with Phoenix. So imagine how she feels knowing what Phoenix feels for Melissa.
Yeah, and see, that's something we touched on even when we were doing trailer analysis and stuff, because you and I have known for the longest time, as does like any diehard Lucha fan that's seen it from the beginning, the relationship between Katrina and Phoenix. And to see these developments in both of their lives, I've still wondered, how does Katrina feel about this relationship between Phoenix and Melissa Santos? Because we know the primary focus right now is Marty's fixation with Melissa, but I'd be very curious again to get Katrina into that fold, knowing how she feels about Phoenix. We might see her go on a tear because Katrina doesn't seem like the most emotionally healthy person. So, I'm just very, very intrigued by this whole dynamic with, Jeremiah and Mil and Katrina, but also on top of that, Phoenix and Melissa, and then you've got Marty in the fray. Like, everybody wants everybody.
Sincere question, is it even possible to be emotionally stable when you're in a relationship with a guy who is as big and powerful as Mil, knowing that you're in love with a guy who, if you would ever actually hook up with him again, your current boyfriend would literally murder his face?
Yeah, I think emotional stability in that case is impossible, but it's so crazy because you got to wonder for Phoenix too. And I don't mean this in a melodramatic way, right? Like this is the Luchaverse. So much crazy stuff exists in this universe. You've got to wonder if Phoenix, if we believe in concepts in the temple like destiny and fate, which don't seem to be such leaps when we know there are literal gods, if he's even fated to be happy with anybody else, like if this road with Melissa is just going to lead to tragedy and heartbreak because Phoenix and Katrina literally complete each other. They're two opposites that come together to form that cohesive whole, life and death. And you just got to wonder if any other partner for either of them, because we know Katrina feels empty with Mil. We know this already. But we have to wonder if when Phoenix is with Melissa, like, is he going to give that an honest go? Or is there going to be any point that it's indicated where maybe him and Katrina share a look, or he's thinking about her or something like that? I don't know. It just seems like that kind of, we say one true pairing often as a joke, but it really does seem to be the case with Katrina and Phoenix. So it just makes it all the more interesting that they're here in this moment right now. So
see, the thing to me is like, she's obviously super into him, but he obviously wants nothing to do with her. So we can't really even call it OTP when one of the parties isn't into it.
See, and like, here's the thing. I don't necessarily think you're wrong per se, because I don't really know if this is like grounds for debate, and I don't want to use that kind of language. But Phoenix's feelings to me are more interesting because I keep thinking about one of the iconic scenes of Lucha Underground, one of my favorites, where they share that long, like, drawn out kiss, but you feel the passion, the camera's like rotating around, and you see like both of them really into it.
Was that the episode that we had the Phoenix Mil world title match right before Aztec Warfare?
Yes.
2, I think it was. Yeah.
And then when Katrina teleports away, you can see that Phoenix is frustrated, either because like he's so emotionally confused, or maybe there was something he wanted to say to her, or maybe he didn't want it to end. So like, you say he wants nothing to do with her. I disagree, because it always seems like when she comes to him, she has said allure to him where maybe you are right to a point, but she's that woman he can't resist, which is why I'll even go as far as say I don't think it'll happen, because again, I think the main focus is Marty and his fixation with Melissa, but I would not be surprised if Katrina was kind of playfully teasing or taunting Phoenix, and they did share a kiss and Melissa walked in on it, because I think Phoenix is a good guy. I think he's meant to be a good guy. I just don't know if he can resist what Katrina offers. That's just my view, because he seemed to either immediately regret it after that one infamous kiss, or just like, God, what do I do? I'm so conflicted. It's Phoenix's case is more interesting to me for sure. But yeah, I mean, Jeremiah, man, he did not like what he saw. I'm sure anybody that is rooting for Phoenix and Katrina didn't like what they saw either. But this did happen, and I've got nothing else to say about it. So unless you do, we can move on.
All right, let's move on. Up next, we actually went right into our first match of the night, which was Mil himself, Mil Muertes, versus Veneno. And yeah, this was a quickie. This was The only true squash match of the Cueto Cup so far.
Absolutely. Mill murdered Veneno's face. Like, he took him down right out of the gate, did the mount punches, was just tossing him around, got a spinning choke slam at one point, got the flatliner, 3 count. The match couldn't have been more than 5 minutes because it felt like it went by so quick
I
to
was going
me.
to say maybe 2 or 3 even, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there really isn't much to say here. I even made a joke on Live Reactions, given that we did our last formal review for a Patreon request of the Nitro Raw simulcast, yesterday. I joke that this was not Nitro's final episode because all those matches were quickies too. And yeah, this just got done in no time. This had to be one of the shortest matches in Lucha Underground's history. I know they've had a few of them over the course of 3 seasons, but damn, this really wasn't much at all.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, I think the only time these matches have been shorter, and I don't say this to be cute, I am being serious, is when Masquerida's involved. And yet this was Veneno, who we know is Cortez Castro, back undercover. So way to make headway on that investigation there, Castro. Great job.
Hey, man, maybe he has to act like a bad wrestler so that nobody suspects that he is truly the experienced veteran Cortez Castro, a.k.a. Ricky Reyes.
You know something? Because that defense seemed actually thoughtful, I'm going to let you have that one. But if you have anything else you want to say, we can move on.
I appreciate you letting me have that one.
All right, so what came after this?
After this, we had another match pretty much immediately. We had a commercial break in between, and then we got right into Paul London versus Vibora. And this match was, really, Vibora was mostly dominant. Paul London got some pretty cool offense, some drop kicks, got to send Vibora to the outside, and then did like a really cool, over the bottom rope baseball slide style drop kick that was really effective, but really didn't even knock Vibora off his feet. He did a really cool trust fall dive spot, which was, I just love that. There was a hilarious moment where he held a carrot up to Cobra Moon's throat like he was going to cut her with as if the carrot was a knife, or just maybe the carrot had a really sharp point at the end. And eventually, though, it got to a point where Paul London sent Vibora to the outside, and Saltador and Mala Suerte grabbed each of Vibora's feet and prevented him from getting back in. So Paul London won via countout.
Yeah, partner, feel free to take your victory lap, because to be fair, you did say that Paul London was going to win. So I was way on the mark.
Move on.
All right, well, yeah, that's it. I really nothing I can add. I am looking forward to the Rabbit Tribe's feud with the Serpent Tribe. And I think it should be very interesting. I wonder what kind of role Masquerade is going to play in it, seeing as how he got owned by Pindar. And, I do think this is a smart way for Vibora to be protected. It's very rare that Lucha Underground invokes the count-out finish, but when they do, there's usually a worthwhile payoff. Like, for example, when we got Marty and Killshot, they kept fighting to a double count out. We know that culminated in a Weapons of Mass Destruction match, which was excellent. So this will probably culminate in some kind of crazy trios match, presumably for the titles. And I'm actually curious if they're going to go all the way and put the trios championships on the Rabbit Tribe. And I don't think it would be a bad move. They are very entertaining. Gotta say, too, Paul London showed that he's probably the smartest guy in the tribe, because when he did the whole skin the cat, head scissors to Vibora to the outside, at first I'm like, oh, well, what did he do that for? But he got Vibora in perfect position for his legs to be hooked by Mala Suerte and Saltador. So very clever by Paul London. He advances. He's going to face Mil Muertes in the next round. So I got nothing else to say. And yeah, unless you have anything you want to add about anything I've said, we can move on.
Okay, up next, we had a Joey Ryan Taya match. They kind of went back and forth, but eventually Taya hit a Northern Lights into a double stomp, aka Perra por favor, also known as Bitch Please. And she picked up the win on Joey Ryan. This was another shorter match, but it was more competitive than Mil Veneno.
Very happy that Taya won this. I think it bolsters Worldwide Underground's credibility on the whole, and definitely bolsters her credibility as an individual performer. I love that she's going out and she's kind of doing her own thing in this cup because it feels like lately she's just been associated with Mundo, which makes sense on a multitude of levels, don't get me wrong. But I've always said in factions, and we've even been saying, to make the best parallel we can with WWE's New Day, you can be a team but still have your own individual ambitions. I actually think it's healthier when you let those individual ambitions flourish. So I think it's really cool that Ty is a part of this, and she actually advances because, one, you can still think about Worldwide Underground, but then you get a deeper appreciation for Taya as an individual. So I really appreciate Lucha Underground for doing this. The right call to me was made, and I'm not going to reveal the whole hand. We'll get to it when we get to it, but let's just say I am very excited for Taya's next round matchup. So
yeah, buddy. Well, we're actually inching our way towards it, but we did get 2 cinematic segments between this match and the main event match. So the first one was in the bathroom, Mil Muertes actually in his suit, and then Jeremiah Crane, as Mil was exiting the bathroom, Jeremiah Crane attacked him with a chair, just clocked him over the head with the chair, like almost like sharp end first, like 2 or 3 times before telling Muertes, she's mine, and then hitting him with, like, he had a chair on Mil's face, and he hit him with another chair that connected with the chair on his face. So, like, not quite a concerto, but the other way around.
Yeah. I mean, this was an ass whooping. Jeremiah is clearly out of his mind. Also, it should be, remembered by everybody that Katrina is her own person with her own volition and free will, and you don't need me to tell you that because she will remind you by force if you would try and say, oh, she's mine to her face. She clearly is not interested in Jeremiah, but Jeremiah doesn't want to hear it. And Mil, what I liked about this cinematic, and it's rare that I talk about the technical stuff because, well, I'm a dumbass, but when he did the final chair shot before we went to commercial, I like the fade out effect to kind of symbolize that Mil lost consciousness from that shot and he was knocked out.
Yeah, that was very helpful symbolically.
Absolutely, because it would also play into what we would get later and explain, well, why didn't Mil get his comeuppance? So it's even the little things that Lucha Underground plants in there that it's like, oh, in case you were wondering about this, well, this is why, because Jeremiah pretty much cold cocked him with that fucking chair, and he's just taking that nap for the time being. So yeah, great beatdown cinematic. I still think the one where Cage beats the crap out of the Mac in the locker room is the best one they've done, but this really wasn't bad at all. I was actually like, damn, Mil, you just got straight up. You got more or less. By the way, Mil was rocking that suit. It's a shame it had to all go down the way it did because he's a sharp-dressed monster, man. Goddamn. But,
yeah, buddy. I like just paying attention to the details on his mask, though, because as far as like tribes go, there's still a tribe left that we don't know about. Like, we know about eagle, deer, moths, serpent, jaguar, and there's another one, rabbit, but we don't know what the 7th tribe is. And I've speculated it's the death tribe or like the condor tribe or something like that, but we don't have any kind of confirmation on that, and I'm really curious as to what it is. So I feel like Mil is probably most likely sort of the representative of that tribe, in the same sense that, like, Puma is the ultimate representative of the jaguar tribe, Cuerno the deer tribe, Azteca the eagle tribe, etc., etc. So I'm really curious as to what tribe Mil's icon symbol on his mask might kind of lead me to believe he's in. But it's like it looks like a freaking eagle. So I doubt he's actually in the eagle tribe, but like I said during our live reactions that it looks like a griffin, but a griffin has the head of an eagle, and that's all you see is the head. So apparently I'm saying it looks like an eagle or like a harpy, which is a kind of eagle. So maybe he is in the eagle tribe and we just don't know about it yet. We don't know.
yeah, I mean, with this tribe that we're unaware of, I can't wait for Lucha Underground to peel back the veil, so to speak, and let us see, because you have to imagine, and it may still be this season, because I mean, there's still
the
plenty
thing
left
is,
in this
too, we know there's a deer tribe, but that hasn't, I don't even know for sure if the deer tribe is even canonized yet. Like, I don't even know if they've come out and said, like, oh, that guy's from the deer tribe, or like, oh, Cuerno, he represents the deer tribe, or something like that. Like, I don't even know if that's canon. But, I mean, you can clearly see it by just looking at the Lucha Underground the title, the God, what's the name of it? The Gift of the Gods. We haven't heard about the Gift of the Gods in so long, I forgot about the damn name. But yeah, you can clearly see that it's like the head of like not necessarily a deer itself, but like a wildebeest or a similar bovine creature like that.
Yeah, I'm very curious to get more on the tribes because it's just such a fascinating element to this universe, and yet I feel like we know so little. Like we only know scraps. That's why I have to imagine. And again, it may start this season because there's still so much left of this season to give. But I would have to think season 4 and no later than season 5 are they really going to pour gasoline on this whole tribe thing and really pick up the
Yeah.
pace and
Well,
heat
and
things
it's
up.
really interesting too because I mean we've already talked about the Aerostar vignette cinematic thing where he went 1,000 years in the past and they were talking about you have to unite the 7 tribes and gods in the form of men and all that stuff, and like we're still basing all of our theories and stuff off of that one segment, and that was at the beginning of season 2, so that was like 50 episodes ago now.
Yeah, but I think Lucha Underground's that type of show where it keeps you on your toes, and it's going to ask you from time to time through its content, oh, hey, did you remember this back in season 2 or even as far back as season 1?
Yeah.
Because it just seems like so self-referential in that way. Like they are doing serious world building here. So anything that you might think is trivial or anything that you might feel like at once meant something, but you're questioning, well, maybe I'm hanging on to this too long. Don't, man. You know, I still think about that Aerostar cinematic myself because I still think it has a huge role to play and things to come.
Long
And
term, yeah, because that's the thing. Like, I mean, the whole gods in the form of man thing, it was multiple. So at this point, we could just be done with that. It could just be Matanza and Cage, and that could just be it because we already know Cage is being possessed by a god. But the thing is, when they say gods in the form of man, John, you and I immediately assume, okay, well, each tribe has a god. So there's going to be 7 of them, right?
yeah, yeah, that's what I assume too. I mean, everything you're saying were the assumptions that I was operating under as well. So you figure we have 2 now in Matanza and Cage. I'm personally expecting 5 more, but you know, Lucha Underground time and again has subverted expectations, and pretty much every time, for my taste, offered up something better. So I'm curious what they are going to do with this huge tribal storyline, which is pretty much to me the very foundation of this temple's existence and everything, right? Everything. So there's got to be so much more to it, and we're getting it piecemeal. So yeah, maybe one day we'll learn the tribe that Mill belongs to, but right now Mill ain't gonna learn shit because he's knocked out cold. So that's all we know.
Yeah, and then we get into another cinematic type of segment. Really, just a really well done hype package, building up more to Johnny Mundo versus Ray. And again, I said this during live reactions, and I'll say it again here. Lucha Underground has never built up to a single individual match more than they are building up to this match right now, and it's not even an Ultima Lucha match.
Yeah, that's what's so crazy, dude. I have no doubt that it will because you have 2 exceptional workers in there, especially, of course, my boy Johnny Mundo, who's really hit his stride the past 2 years. But like, I'm hoping this match delivers in such a way that that will be my Lucha Underground match of the year because I'm pinning a lot of hope on it. Like, it's either going to be that or, like you said in live reactions, a Killshot Dante Fox match because, like, those 2 things right now have just got me fucking salivating. But
Yeah.
this was so well done. I know you were really going out of your way to praise it even more than I was. So what did you think about this whole cinematic kind of style build up for this match?
Well, yeah, I mean, the reason that I was praising it so much is because it feels so much out of Lucha Underground's comfort zone. Like, this feels like and I even said this in live reactions as well, this feels like the most pro wrestling thing that Lucha Underground has a TV show has ever done. Because this is a straight up hype package. Like, this isn't a cinematic segment. This isn't a badass vignette. This is them doing WWE better than WWE does these days. This is them taking a big match and building to it in a way that makes it seem like the most important thing possible. Because not only are they using a special guest commentator to do the voiceover for this, they brought in Michael Chiavello, who was the guest commentator for Ultima Lucha 1. But they're also bringing in competitors that have faced one or both of these guys to give their thoughts on who they think is going to win and what the different variables going into the match might be. Like you've got Cage talking about how Johnny Mundo is bigger, faster, stronger, younger, but then you've got Chavo talking about how Ray is like this experienced vet. And of course, Puma's bitter ass talking about how Ray doesn't know how to lose. So yeah, I absolutely loved that. Not just that, like, I don't just love the cinematic for what it is. I love it for what it represents, because it represents Lucha Underground branching out even more into the realm of like traditional pro wrestling and getting it so right. It almost makes WWE look even worse by comparison than they already did by comparison.
I want to be careful with my wording here because I don't want to make it seem like I've put my foot in my mouth. But what I'm loving about what I appear to be seeing from Lucha Underground this season, I think this is the season, because the first one was, again, kind of place setting, world building. This is Lucha Underground. This is the alternative. Everything you've ever wanted outside of the WWE or TNA or whatever kind of binary or what have you. Second season, just kind of continues on that, and we did season 2 Lucha Rewatch. I know it's kind of a mixed bag for a lot of people. Was it a great season? Absolutely. Was it as good as season 1? A lot of debate about that. But this season,
to be honest, though, no, it wasn't as good as season 1, especially not after you get past episode 9 of season 1 when it kind of really picks up. No, season 2 wasn't as good as season 1, but I think and that's not even me saying season 2 sucks, because it didn't. Season 2 was still really enjoyable, but season 1 was magical and season 2 was just really good. So that's the difference. Whereas season 3, I feel like we've retouched that magic level.
And see, that's the thing. I've always been of the opinion that season 2, while it was great, like I do agree with you on that, it was more fodder for the greater end of season 3. Lucha Underground, you hear in every interview from performers and writers, they're like, oh, especially the second half that we're seeing now. Oh, the second half, especially, so much good stuff. Oh, the second half. This, to me, is the season where Lucha Underground is coming out guns blazing after laying down the foundation and saying, we're here, motherfuckers. And where that culminates, right, is I think they're finally saying, yeah, Ultima Lucha is our WrestleMania, but better, and they're treating it like it. I think more so this season than seasons past, because, you're building up this world title fight, which isn't even an Ultima Lucha thing. But imagine if they're doing this for something that isn't Ultima Lucha. I can't wait to see what the Ultima Lucha hype is like. And if they're branching out into this territory of promotion and this and that, that just, again, and what you said repeatedly on live reactions and again here, is new territory for them. They are gaining that confidence. And now that makes me so excited, not just for the remainder of this season, but subsequent seasons, because I think they really are at the point now where they're saying, we are the alternative. And not only are we just any alternative, we are the best thing going in this kind of realm of entertainment. And that confidence shows. Like, this was put together so beautifully. And you got a great variety of perspectives, because you had Chavo, who has that history with Ray. You have Cage, who has a history primarily with Mundo, but then you have Puma as kind of the tiebreaker because he has a history with both. And then Striker is more like the not competitor, but comes at it from a fresh perspective as the announcer. So you got amazing varied voices here when you really break it down. And they give an honest assessment. Like even Cage, he says, yeah, Mundo, he is a coward. He is a bit cagey, quote unquote. But as you said, he does concede, Mundo is younger, faster, stronger. And, he'll do whatever it takes to stay on top of the mountain. And then you got Chavo again, who's just like, it's Ray, one of the greatest performers of all time. And Striker's saying, well, I think Ray's fighting for his legacy, and Mundo's the man right now, so he's fighting to stay the man. And then, like you said, Puma's bitter ass, after really mulling it over, knowing he has a rich history with both guys, says Ray because he doesn't know how to lose. And that's an excellent soundbite to end on, though, because, again, it's building up Ray's credibility as if he even needed it.
Listen, Puma, just because he didn't lose to you doesn't mean he's incapable of the feat.
Exactly. Johnny
Just
Mundo's
ask Pentagon.
Exactly. Yeah, Johnny Mundo will show everybody. I'm confident. But, yeah, I'm loving how they're building this up.
Ray did lose to Pentagon earlier this season, right? I'm remembering that correctly, right?
I believe you are. I want to say yes.
Oh, God. I get the feeling I'm wrong, and Ray actually beat Pentagon. Shit.
Oh, wait. Did he? I'm trying to think. No, I think Pentagon did beat Ray, though, didn't he? I feel like I know which match you're talking about now. Like, it's coming back to me in bits and pieces. But I feel like Pentagon did win that match. Anybody in chat can help us? Anybody give us any confirmation? No? All right, fine. We're on our own here. Regardless, I am loving how this is being promoted. I love what it signifies as well. I thought that was a great point you brought up. I think this is going to become the new norm in the future, especially for subsequent Ultima Luchas. They may even do something similar for this upcoming Ultima Lucha when we get closer to it. And again, I love that because Ultima Lucha is a big deal. And I'm glad that Lucha Underground's really going in, all in and just promoting it and everything, because I definitely think they will after something like this being so successful. So, yeah, I got nothing else to say about this unless you do. We can move on.
All right, well, then we actually did get into our main event. We had Killshot versus Jeremiah Crane. Go.
Yeah, dude, you're telling me to go. I was going to give the ball to you. I love this match. I thought this was so freaking good. I'll tell you what. Even though I didn't see the Wrestle Circus show that you saw, because I know you've been giving it like rave reviews, Killshot's just hit his stride too. I know I said that earlier about Mundo, but I think Killshot even more. Like Shane Strickland on the Indies, he's really coming up. He's putting matches together that have been phenomenal, and I feel like he's been doing that in Lucha Underground for a good while, since season 2. And yeah, it hasn't stopped. This is another great one for Killshot. Like he's just in it right now. He's in that rhythm. I don't even know if the guy could have a bad match right now, and that's the highest praise I could give somebody. I mean, Jeremiah Crane was no slouch either. I mean, he showed up to work. Don't get me wrong, but Killshot is just something else. He is so insanely good, and you could put him down as another guy. Now that I've gotten the the Mundo itch scratched, that I can't wait to see. Hopefully one day hold that Lucha Underground Championship, because the Killshot really is something special. But great back and forth here. I loved how physical this match was. I mean, the moment where Jeremiah does the cannonball into the chairs with Killshot, seated there. I mean, just absolutely brutal. You have Killshot's athleticism just on fucking point. His rolling cutter is just perfection. That DDT sequence he does is sick. And he teased the JML driver, not once but twice. But then the second time, when it seemed like he was going to hit it, Dante Fox pulling a Sting up in the freaking rafters, looking down.
That, but it's interesting too, because normally when he does the JML driver, he starts it off in an electric chair, and he just completely forewent the electric chair start, like the startup of the move, and was just going straight for like the wheelbarrow full Nelson driver.
Yeah, which to me, that demonstrates a sense of urgency, which is perfect, because I feel like what both guys did insanely well, they were really conveying through their body language, the fatigue, and just that it was a war of attrition between these two guys. I noted on live reactions, there was one point where Jeremiah gets his arm draped over on Killshot, couldn't even make a formal cover, just put his arm like, let this be enough. And of course it wasn't. And then Killshot having that kind of urgency, he's like, fuck this, I'm putting this away now. But Dante Fox was the difference maker. And, Killshot got distracted. That allowed Jeremiah to hit the J Driller. So Jeremiah advances in the tournament. So just crazy. Jeremiah actually really didn't have a bad night, all things considered. He took out Mil Muertes. He won this match. And here's where it gets even crazier. In the post-match, we have Katrina, who comes out, raises the stone, but seems to give Jeremiah like this sly smile, and he blows a kiss at her. So very interesting developments in the life of Jeremiah Crane. But partner, I'm going to hand it over to you. What did you think about the match? What did you think about the fallout of the match? Just give us your thoughts about everything.
Regarding the fallout of the match, Katrina knows exactly what she's doing. She has no interest in Jeremiah whatsoever, but she knows she can string him along and make things a little more interesting. So she's going to.
Exactly.
God, she's so good. She's such a well-written character and such a great performer behind the character. I love it when those two nexuses kind of meet,
Oh, absolutely, partner.
When performer meets quality writing, like, yes, please, more of that. That's why it's so frustrating in WWE, because I feel like we have a lot of talented performers, but the writing is just so consistently garbage. But anyway, the match, this match was so good. I mean, I keep on calling him Sammy, and I'm sorry. I've just gotten, because of PWG, used to calling him Sammy Callahan. But Jeremiah Crane, when he's like spitting on his hand to do a chop, and then he literally runs the entire length of the ring around, like the circumference of the ring, and does a cannonball onto Killshot while Killshot is draped over chairs. Like, that was such a great moment for both guys, I think.
Oh, absolutely. I love how the Jeremiah Crane character, like, he's got this scuzziness about him, this grotesqueness about him. And it even kind of, does show itself in the offense, with the spitting on the hand and just this intensity and everything. So, yeah, it really, it does work. Like I said, I didn't want to completely bitch out Jeremiah. He pulled his weight big time. It's just I see such a special performer in Killshot, and yeah, I cannot wait for his match with Dante Fox. That is going to be fucking sick. Not to mention, with Lucha Underground, you don't just get a match, you get amazing backstory too, and we still
You
haven't
get a
even really
war.
heard.
Yeah, that's true. But what I was going to say is Lucha Underground lets these guys go out there and kill each other. Like, you don't just get a match with Lucha Underground, you get a war.
Exactly. And here's the thing, you are going to get a war that is narratively substantive because we already know Killshot's story to a degree. We still haven't heard Dante Fox's side of things. And we know that I think we're going to a point because we did get some scenes of him almost like in an interrogation kind of room in the trailer, bound up and bleeding. So I think Dante is going to be able to tell his story. And once you have those two pieces, you're probably going to stir conflict among people. You and I may even disagree. I may be like, oh, Killshot was in the right. No, Killshot was in the wrong. And that's going to make the match so much sweeter. This may be, because I think one of our 12 awards, we have so many of them, is Storyline of the Year. Yeah. If the remainder of this is going to be as great as I think it's going to be, you may be looking at my Storyline of the Year between these two guys, because I am really into this. And I even said...
Well, I mean, we've got 2 years run in Lucha Underground winning Story of the Year, so it would not surprise me or hopefully any of our fans if they go 3 for 3.
Well, I even said, like, way back when we got that first Killshot kind of cinematic and we were just so stoked that he was getting character development in this and that. I said, I love that this is a character that can be badass, but not at the expense of glorifying warfare. I love that they walk that line so well because Killshot he's a legit badass to me. The way he handles his business in the ring, his repertoire is just vicious, but just so engrossing to watch. But it comes at a heavy price because this is a man who's clearly very traumatized by his time in war, and he doesn't make light of it. He doesn't laugh about it.
He's not over because the character is like a war vet. He's over, but then he's also a war vet. Like it's two. They're not linked to each other. He's not over because of the character. He's over, and then he also just happens to have this character.
Exactly, and like what I love about the character, and I've said this about Lucha Underground too. I love because I think with, and again, not to take another potentially unnecessary pot shot at them, but I gotta say it. I think sometimes with WWE's characters, like you have performers that could add depth to a character that I feel like there is none. Like case in point, I mean with Jinder, what is he really but another foreigner with the world title? And it's like, oh, you hate me because I'm un-American. But I love that Lucha Underground can take topics that may potentially make us uncomfortable. Like case in point with Sexy Star, you're talking about a survivor of suicide, of abuse, especially like in gendered abuse, being a woman and stuff like that. And yet they take it into a character that works so well. I know, sometimes Sexy Star is a point of debate for people, and that's fine. But I think on a character point, I love that they go there with her, but they never caricaturize it. They never glorify it or anything like that. They just present it in an honest way, and you get great moments out of it, like No Mas between her and Mariposa. Same thing with Killshot. You're talking about something that's as delicate as war, and it's not like these films where like everything's exploding and oh man, we got to get the Japs or the Nazis or wherever the enemies are. Like it's real and it's honest and it's painful, and that's why I'm hoping. Now I have confidence they will, of course. That's why I think it's so crucial that they run the ball down the field, because Dante Fox's perspective of the whole thing and how these perspectives meet, we have the chance to do something really beautiful here. And of course, by we, I do mean Lucha Underground, but they have the chance, to me, to do one of the most compelling stories, I will say, that I've bared witness to since I've been a wrestling fan, which is well over a decade at this point. Like, I am invested in both of these guys. Brother. Yeah. And
you're at what, 17, 18 years now?
Yeah, exactly. And like I am so invested in these guys. I know you are too. and I know they can do it. I'm so glad they are doing this story, because there isn't any, again, characterizing or glorifying or any of this. This is raw and this is honest. And you've got Dante Fox with this gripe, like, you left me to die. Which, let's be honest, of all the things that grudge matches are predicated on, oh, I have to beat you, or oh, you have this title I won, or oh, this woman that I have this affection for. No, I mean, that's fucking life right there. Like, my life meant shit to you and you were willing to sacrifice me to save your skin. Like, that is heavy shit. And so, yeah, I'm sorry for prattling on like this. It's just, again, this is the storyline I think I'm loving the most, outside of course, Mundo's run as champion.
Dude, you should never apologize for this kind of stuff. This is what we are. This is who TWitWoW is. This is why we do stuff.
I love that they're doing this, because if I'm being honest, I feel like if it was WWE, it would get so cartoony so fast, and I feel like this is an honest portrayal. Now, obviously, I've never served in war. I don't even think I have any relatives that have served in war, but you know, to me, I think I've seen enough films to know what war isn't, and you read enough accounts from people that come back from the Middle East or whatever, and like this, to me, I feel like is doing that justice. And
yeah.
You know, I wish I could remember, because there was this book that I read this one time, and I wish I could remember the name of it, but I'm not going to spend like 15 minutes trying to remember it. But it was this guy, like, he served in war, and he came back, and he clearly had PTSD, and he tried to have a normal life after that. He even tried going for political office, but it just wasn't happening for him, because apparently he did things in war. I remember his campaign manager said, well, you don't have any skeletons, do you? You know, your nose is clean. And he did some things in war that people were like, wait, you did that? Oh! And like, in the end, it's heavily implied that he killed his wife in the end. And why I say that is like, that's war, though. Sometimes you're left, like, it scars you and you're messed up, and Killshot works through his scars by fighting. And yet he sees his best friend, and I don't know if he can bring himself to do that. We know Dante Fox can, because he's been doing it since day one. But I love it. I love the emotional intensity. I love the drama. This is, to me, the best storyline that Lucha Underground has going, and I cannot wait to see the payoff. This is going to be so fucking good, dude.
I mean, the crazy thing is, this is a great storyline and one of their best storylines right now, but it's got so much competition. It's got so much... You know, I can't fully commit to saying this is the best.
Yeah, no, dude, I totally understand that. Again, I love that Lucha Underground, and I hope, because I know we do have people in Lucha Underground that are fans of our show, which is always a humbling thing to think about. I hope they never stop taking risks. I think they use characters to say things that are so important. Again, Sexy Star when it comes to, you know, female abuse, and Killshot about war. I hope they keep doing things like this. I really, really do. Because it's just, to me, so different and so welcomed and so refreshing, that, yeah, I can't wait to see what next, like, not necessarily crazy character, but character rooted in a very real life thing that maybe we haven't found the words to talk about yet is around the corner. So, yeah, I just wanted to really praise Lucha Underground for that, because I don't see anybody else doing it, and it's wonderful. It really is.
It's a nice upgrade from, like, the deepest thing in WWE being, I'm brown and you don't like me because I'm brown, and then the babyface being like, no, we don't like you because you're an asshole, and that being the whole story.
Exactly. Ashton, you know what? You said it perfectly. Unless you have anything else you want to add, we can move on to our last thing, and I'm going to give you the ball on this one, because this is nuts.
Well, we have our post-credits cinematic here. We see Dario Cueto in his office talking to someone about the last leg, the last round, or the last group of the first round matches. And the left that doesn't have an opponent is Son of Havoc. But, I mean, from our perspective, the camera, I mean, we see a guy sitting in the chair with Cueto, and it looks like it is Son of Havoc. And, you know, he's talking about how Son of Havoc's the only person not to have an opponent, and he puts him on the board, and he asks the guy what his name is, and he says, Son of Madness. And we see his face, and he looks like a bigger, huskier version of Son of Havoc, and it's Son of Madness. And Cueto even says, like, oh, well, where should we build this for the open road? So again, it's the Son of Havoc almost mirror match, because he's facing this guy this coming week in the Cueto Cup in Group D. It is. This is also the group that has Puma in it and Azteca Jr., so it should be very interesting. But yeah, man, what do you think of Son of Madness?
Oh, dude, like I said, I'm giving you the ball. You tell me first what you think of Son of Madness, because I still just have this bewildered smile on my face. What did you
I
think of
mean, I
all
dig
this?
the look. I think he looks great. I love the gigantic, bristly, bushy beard. It looks awesome. It looks badass, and I genuinely just want to see what he can do in the ring because to me that like the fact that we already know he's got the great look, I just want to know if he's the whole package.
Yeah, dude, that's what I'm curious about too. Like we've seen mirror matchups before, primarily in WWE. I think Imposter Taker facing real Undertaker and Imposter Kane facing
This
real Kane.
isn't
Those are
like an imposter son of havoc. This is just another dude in the what I'm just going to refer to from now on as the Sons of Anarchy biker gang because I mean they're literally sons of, and then a name that could be used as an ant or a synonym for anarchy, whether it's madness or havoc. Either one works the same way. And yeah, so they're not literally like it's not a mirror match in that sense that it's like oh the fake Undertaker or fake Kane or whatever. It's just
right.
two guys with their own identities that just happen to be in the same biker gang and look similar. Like they're not. I mean, I don't think it's going to turn out that they're related. If I had to guess.
Right, and that's really the main point here, though. Well, WWE is primarily done imposter matches. Lucha Underground again goes a bit of a step beyond. They're like saying, no, 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 we're not going to do this whole mirror thing. It really does seem like you've been saying like this whole biker gang kind of thing, and we do know in the trailer that there is an interaction between presumably these two guys in a bar. So, I mean, and that's the thing. And see, again, we get to do something different that's so cool because, and again, this is just purely theorizing, but that's what we love to do here at Lucha Underground TWitWoW. I mean, Son of Havoc, we've known for a long time, open road, and he does have like that whole biker vibe. Is there a story about a gang that he left, and now this is a gang member coming to give him his lumps? Is there a story there? And I love that. I love that we might be getting like a biker gang storyline, but again, that isn't cheesy necessarily, but is just has that Lucha Underground flair to it. And it's even more apropos given that we haven't watched it in a while, mind you, but I am in the midst of with the family of watching Sons of Anarchy. And so, yeah, this is coming at quite a nice time. And yeah, I can't wait for this match. Son of Madness. I mean, he looks legit. I can't wait to see him compete. I mean, honestly, it really says something when I'm anticipating this match equal to Dante Fox versus El Dragon Azteca Jr. I mean, that
Oh
match is going
wow,
to be.
yeah, that does say something. I'm not necessarily there at this point, but I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to it. But I'm not on that level of looking forward to it. That's like it's a pretty clear cut number two behind Azteca Dante Fox for me.
I just feel like they're operating on two different levels because with Fox as Tekka, they're both studs. They're both going to fucking kill it. And it's just a matter of sitting back and reaping in the benefits. But Madness is, and it's funny because that was kind of his nameplate originally before we got the cinematic. He is the question mark, right? Like he is that curiosity. Like, what is he going to bring to the table? Is he going to win? Is Son of Havoc going to prevail? And regardless of who prevails in that match, what's the context of that trailer scene, and how does this all branch off? So yeah, I'm immensely looking forward to that. And yeah, I
How are
mean,
these guys going to meet up in a bar somewhere? I mean, that's what the freaking that's what we saw in the trailer, like you just mentioned. But like, I kind of expected that to be our introduction to this character, and it turns out no. The first time we're going to see him, obviously outside of this segment in Koito's office, is going to be in the temple in a match next week. So it's going to be really interesting.
I'm curious too, and again, this is just me kind of going off the deep end at the theorizing and the discussion, but I'm curious how informed by biker culture this whole thing is going to be because I just got done saying earlier that I am in the midst of watching Sons of Anarchy with the family, but apparently when that show was being made, they talked to like the actual biker gang that Sons of Anarchy was kind of based around. And so like all the things they told them, that's incorporated in those episodes. Like I remember one where a guy that was out of the group like gave up his cut so long ago, he still had the tattoo, right? Well, that's like a big fucking no-no. You don't do that. So they corner him and they're like, oh, do you want it removed by knife? Like, we're just gonna cut it off, or fire? We're just gonna burn your back until it's melted off. And he picks fire. And of course, as you can imagine, the preceding scene is gruesome. But I'm wondering, like, if we're gonna get something not necessarily that gritty, mind you, but like that informed. Again, did Son of Havoc leave the gang? What's Son of Madness's story? And stuff like that. So I'm very excited, knowing that Sons of Anarchy is a thing, knowing that we've had things that kind of explore biker culture, what kind of direction this storyline is going to take. So, yeah, I mean, again, like you just said when I was staking my claim about Killshot Dante Fox, there are so many great storylines, some that are still embryonic like this one, and they've already got me hooked in deep. Like, it's nuts, dude.
Not to mention a couple of other stories that are still kind of looming, but we haven't gotten updates in a while because of injuries. Evil East versus Katrina, and Angelico versus Johnny Mundo.
That's right. God, I can't wait for Angelico to come back so they can resume that business, because those matches, Jesus Christ. But yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, exactly. You have anything else you want to say about this though, man? Because I'm good. I feel like I've said everything that I can say.
Well, if you said everything you can say, I've been tapped out for a little bit here, so let's move on to our next segment.
High spots and low shots. Gonna move right along here. My low shot is Joey Ryan, because you talked a lot of shit, didn't you? You really thought you were gonna go on and become Lucha Underground champion. Yeah, your dreams got shattered by the perfect woman. Now revel in your mediocrity. So yeah, Joey Ryan's my low shot. Who's your low shot?
Oh man, it's tempting to make my low shot Mil Muertes. Actually, yeah, Mil Muertes. Well, no, because he won a match, so I won't make Mil my low shot. But it's tempting because he got his ass beat. But no, I guess I'll have to make my low shot Kill Shot, because even though he had a solid performance, he still ended up losing because of a ghost of Christmas past. If you know what I'm saying.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I think that is an excellent pick. Moving right along, you know what? There are so many great choices, including one that would seem like glaringly obvious. But you know what? I'm in such a good mood. I'm going to go with my girl Taya for my high spot, because, I mean, she's engaged to the best man on the freaking planet. But within the ring, she won her match tonight, and she advanced to the next round of the Cueto Cup, where she'll face Jeremiah Crane. But you know what? I'm still picking Taya. Why? Because perfection doesn't falter. That's why. So, Taya, I don't know if you'll hear this, but you're my high spot tonight. Congratulations on the win again. Excellent work.
Damn, you had both your high spot and your low shot from the same match. That's some dedication right there.
Damn right it is. So, who's your high spot?
Yeah, my high spot is... let's be real, guys. It's not going to be anyone other than Jeremiah Crane. I mean, I'm doing the same thing John is, picking my high spot and low shot from the same match. But at the end of the day, Jeremiah picked up a big win here and emasculated the woman that he's chasing's boyfriend. So as far as Jeremiah goes, even though he might have gotten himself in some deep shit after this episode, within the confines of the episode, he was a big winner. And I will also give an honorable mention to Paul London for picking up the countout win over the giant Snake Villora.
Hey, man, I'm picking up everything you're laying down right now. That makes all the sense in the world to me. With that said, though, man, do you have any concluding remarks about tonight's Lucha Underground?
No, man. Let's close this on out. It was a lot of fun, but I'm ready to see what happens in our Group D matches next week. This can't happen fast enough, I feel like.
Oh, Group D is going to kick ass next week, brother. Guaranteed. With that said, though, guys, this has been Lucha Underground. This has been TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my co-host and commentary, Ashton. Guys, be sure to comment, subscribe, and like the video. The more likes you leave, the more likely we are to be the top search result for Lucha Underground reviews on YouTube. And when you're the best at what you do, the top is the only place that you belong. So please, if you have not left a like yet, please do so now. You can check out all of the media that TWitWoW is associated with. from our Twitter handles all the way to the TWitWoW Facebook. You know, everything is in the description box. So now that that's out of the way, let me get to plugs. First and foremost of upcoming content, tomorrow is going to be a huge day because it's Q&A. So I'm going to kind of do this in reverse order. Because Q&A is tomorrow, and I'm assuming Ashton will be going live at 8 for Q&A, like usual.
Yeah,
so
correct.
We're going live at 8 tomorrow for Q&A, guys. That still gives you a window, like less than 24 hours now, to submit Q&A questions. If you haven't submitted questions yet, because I can tell you, when me and Ashton get done all of our recordings for tonight, we still have an NXT review coming up most immediately, but I'll get to that in a second. I am going to be feeding him the questions I got. He'll be assembling the questions he's got. So we're starting to do the prep work. So if you haven't gotten questions in yet, there is still time. You know, the window hasn't closed on you. I'm just saying, do it now, because we're going live at 8 tomorrow. If you haven't gotten questions in, you're going to have to wait for next month's Q&A. And why wait when you can get that satisfaction right now? You know, that instant gratification, if you will. So you guys know how to submit questions. You can wait for this video to finish processing and comment with questions on this video. You can add us, on Twitter. I know I even have a pinned tweet dedicated to receiving Q&A questions for their respective month. So I know the pinned tweet is still up there if you guys want to submit your last minute questions there. You can go to the TWitWoW Facebook. If you do, please leave the page a like. It is always appreciated. And you can inbox us your questions. I know that's the method Alex Foster likes to employ. So there are a multitude of avenues that you can take to participate in Q&A. No reason why your voice shouldn't be heard. The cap is 4 questions if you are new to this. And you can divvy up those questions any way you like. If there's something you're really curious about with Ashton, you could just ask something of him. If there's something you're really curious about with me, you could just ask something of me. Or if you're like, oh, sharing is caring, you can ask one question, or really all 4 questions, I should say, to both of us. So you get 2 perspectives, price for 1 question. Now, that's a deal you just can't beat. Am I right? Of course I am. So, yeah, get in on Q&A if you haven't already. Obviously, again, we will have NXT coming up. Just to ask you very quickly, partner, did you find NXT yet? Because I know you did last week before we went off the air.
We'll be fine with NXT. We'll be able to go live at 11:30, just like last week, same as
all right.
usual. We're going to try and make sure that we stick to that schedule as best as possible.
Absolutely, guys. So you heard it from the man here. 11:30 we'll be going live with NXT. But with that aside, let me talk about the Patreon. Because as you know, we did our last formal review for a Patreon ever yesterday. We did the last ever Nitro and the Raw simulcast. And now it's going to be, you can either request a live reaction or a live reaction and a review bundle. Pure reviews are off the table, but still go on the Patreon, look at those pay tiers, see how that all shakes out. If you
unless you really just don't want to hear us live react to whatever show it is and you just want a review, in which case you would pretty much have to pay the live reaction plus review price, and then you can just request us not to live react to it. But I don't know why you would do that.
Exactly. I mean, you might as well get your bundle and enjoy it. I've even heard a lot of people say that they feel like our live reactions are better anyway. So get in on that sweet deal, guys. I know some people are kind of, their minds are percolating with ideas of things they could request. We've got a request.
Remember, too, that if you don't want to donate the entire chunk of money that it would cost to request whatever live reaction it is you want, you can accumulate it over time. So if you still, if you want to get in on the TWitWoW Discord and you just want to kind of sit back and wait, and maybe you have like a 3-hour show that you really want us to live react to, you just donate $3 a month for 10 months and just let that accumulate. And then after the 10th month, we'll do the live reaction, no problem.
Exactly. So guys, that's another thing, and I'm glad Ashton brought that up, because I was getting ready to plug the Discord, our newest tier, our newest offering, $3 a month. You get the most intimate access with TWitWoW that you could possibly have. You get to talk with us about all sorts of stuff. I know in the Discord there is a general tab, a wrestling talk tab. So really anything. If you guys want to talk about, oh, hey, guys, you excited for Spider-Man Homecoming? Spoiler alert. Yes, we are. You could talk about that. If you want to talk about wrestling, I know me, Ashton, Jarveris, Cliff, and Paul's starting to get the hang of it. We had a great conversation about, G1.
And Hazardous something.
And Hazardous something, that's right. And Hazardous Something's also on there. We had a great conversation about G1, the nature of the business, like, oh, are guys working harder and not smarter? Like,
not to mention, John and I are pretty much fading off of Twitter live tweeting on Raw, and we've pretty much just been sticking to the Discord. So if you guys want to get in on just shitting all over bad Raws or enjoying and maybe even finding out early whether we're going to be reviewing a Raw or not, yeah, definitely cough up the $3. It's really, I think it's a pretty reasonable price considering it's, we have to kind of have the Discord app open at all times during our waking hours when we're at the computer to make sure that we can answer your questions and talk to you guys and stuff like that. So it's a little bit of a compromise on our part, and that's why we are doing a little bit of charging money for it. But I think it's a reasonable enough price that I don't think $3 a month is going to break anyone's wallets.
And, sir, I think it's a great value for what you get, because I think you mentioned yet another benefit of this Discord that I didn't really bother to think about. If you're talking with us guys actively, sometimes you get a leg up on some of your fellow TWitWoW fans. Like, oh, I know content that's coming and you don't. I
think it's the thing, too, is like we are always plugging the Patreon, the Discord, and future content that we're going to be making at the end of our videos. I mean, hell, if you want to save some time, spend $3, donate, get into the Discord, and then you really don't need to even stick around for the end of the videos because you can just kind of bail, no problem, and you'll pretty much know everything that's coming up anyway because we'll be talking about it in the Discord with you guys.
Exactly. And again, just to emphasize the one last part that my partner mentioned earlier that I wanted to really kind of drive home, for $3 a month, not only do you get this intimate access with us, but you're kind of building your spending power a little bit, because if you let those $3 accrue for like 10 months, you can have us live react to a 3-hour show. So not only are you getting immediate benefits,
or hell, I mean, if you want us to react to like an old Raw, that's only 7 months. Or I mean, hell, if you want to expedite the process, you could just up it to $5 a month, and we would do the Raw within 4 or the 3-hour show within 6. Like, you have a lot of options. We're trying to make our schedule and our, the kind of pricing and stuff as flexible as possible. You're not going to find another Patreon where you can donate a certain amount of money and let it accumulate over time to be able to kind of purchase, in a way, bigger things from the channel, that kind of thing. You're really not going to find that from any other Patreon. With any other Patreon, it's, donate $1 and you get to watch my videos with ad blocker on guilt-free. Donate $3 and you get me to tweet you. Donate $5 and I'll shout you out of my video. Like, no, we're not going to do that. It's really, you're paying for shit that we already know you want. We know that you guys want to be able to talk to us whenever you want, so it's $3 for the Discord. We know that you guys enjoy our content, otherwise you wouldn't be here, so that's what the requesting system is for. And, if you're in the Discord and you want, maybe you think that you really want a specific TWitWoW t-shirt design, if you bring that shit up in the Discord and I know for a fact that you're interested, I'll probably make it just for you and then just see how many we can sell of that shirt to other people too.
There you go. I mean, to me, the Discord is just the ultimate TWitWoW fan experience to me at the moment, because, knowing us, we'll probably find down the road some way to up the ante even more. But for the moment, I mean, this really is the ultimate fan experience we can offer you guys. And again, it has those short-term immediate benefits of, wow, I get to really connect with these guys about games, movies, wrestling, anything. And you get the long-term benefits of, well, if I keep donating at this pace, it accrues, and then I'm able to take advantage of more offerings. To me, it's a win-win-win. I don't see any losers here. So, guys, if you haven't yet, please consider donating the $3 and just have everything we just talked about. I mean, that's really all it comes down to. All right, guys, with that said, I can't think of really anything else to plug. So we will see you at 11:30 tonight with our NXT review, where it will be last woman standing between Asuka, the NXT Women's Champion, versus Nikki Cross, all with Mauro Ranallo on commentary. That is a slice of heaven if I ever heard it. So until then, guys, tune in and peace out.